The history of Nigeria's regional politics is traced far back to our independence in 1960, which birthed the emergence of the nation's indigenously elected leaders. Although regional governance had been in existence respectively across the country, but at her independence, the highly diverse and multilinguistic nation was handed the full baton of its leadership by the British colonists. The entity called Nigeria was a product of the amalgamation of the northern and southern protectorates by Lord Lugard in 1914 for administrative ease and the smooth operations of the colonial masters. After many years of political interactions, the nation at independence had been divided into three regions, which included the northern, eastern, and western region, with its own structures and political ideology shaped by its respective leaders. These three major partitions would be what evolved to several states and the 6 geopolitical zones. That marriage, however, over a century evolved into a country which has since been recognized as strength in diversity and a giant in the continent of Africa. This seems to be such a Herculean role to play among the other nations within the continent. But after several trajectory, Nigeria has cemented her place as the much talked about giant of Africa. In the years of its much evolving democracy, leadership, most particularly the republics formed through democratic processes, actors within it have consciously created a system to ensure equality, fairness, and justice for all the zones which the regions evolved into. As the discourse of 2023 gets heated up and the narrative of who should carry on the baton from the current president, Muhammadu Buhari, has taken over the media space and outside the media arena, there has never been such a time when, as a people of the most marginalized region of the country, that our voices should be united, and NCCL being the voice amongst many others that represent the expression of majority of people who are concerned about the progress of the region, we state clearly that it is our turn and time to lead our nation. Tracing leadership through the nation's history, the First Republic, 1963 to 1966, produced President Nnamdi Azikiwe and Prime Minister Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Southeast and Northeast. The Second Republic, 1979 to 1983, produced President Shehu Shagari and Vice President Alex Ekweme, Northwest and Southeast. The abortive Third Republic was won by MKO Abiola and Babagana Kingibe, Southwest and Northeast. After several military regimes, the Fourth Republic was finally ushered in May 1999, and then the Southwest has produced Olusegun Obasanjo, who served for 2 tenures of 8 years. The South-South has produced Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who spent 6 years in power. The Northwest, however, has produced 3 presidents and a total of 11 years so far. Alhaji Shehu Shagari spent 4 years, the late Umar Musa Yar'Adua 2 years, and President Muhammadu Buhari, who is into his 2nd tenure. While other regions have also produced vice presidents from Northeast, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar 8 years, Architect Namadi Sambo, Northwest 6 years, Professor Yemi Osibajo, Southwest 5 years so far, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, South-South 2 years. What is the offense of the North Central region? The question is, why has the North Central region not been given consideration in leadership? Another question of very important consideration is, why has the most populous constituency, which represents over 60% of the voting population, been largely left out of leadership in the democratic dispensation in the country, despite being overly promised to be leaders of tomorrow decades ago? Most often, youths are relegated to political backbenchers and in most precarious situation, criminal entities to carry out the heinous crimes of selfish politicians who devises desperate measures to hold on to power to the detriment of the people. Their excuse has always been that youths do not have the requisite knowledge and political understanding to run the affairs of the country at any level of leadership, adding that leadership in a country like ours required experience, which they allude to be years of cycling round political offices. Those who held this school of thought have forgotten the remarkable contributions of young people in their heydays to our nation. These contributions were not only in political front, but other areas of endeavor, and by so doing, they have made their mark in our nation. Take for instance, before our independence as a nation, different young Nigerians participated in the much celebrated process and played very remarkable roles. Does the name Anthony Eremosele Enahoro ring a bell? At the age of 21, he became the youngest editor of the Southern Nigerian Defender Ibadan in 1944, which served as one of the leading voices that resisted continued colonial rule. Anthony Enahoro, at the age of 29 in 1953, became the first to move the motion for Nigeria's independence, which was eventually granted in 1960. He did all of these and many more as a youth. Chief Obafemi Awolowo was another nationalist who took active part in forcing out the British colonial masters from the shores of our nation. As a young man, he was an active journalist who used this platform to herald nationalism ideals. He, at the age of 40, set up the Nigerian Tribune, which served at that time a vocal voice against colonialism, while he also actively participated in politics. Born on June 12, 1910, Sir Ahmadu Bello's exploits in politics could be traced back in his early 20s, and throughout his span of effective leadership, he made his mark. Abubakar Tafawa Balewa was born in the year 1912 in modern-day Bauchi State, and remarkably, at the age of 34, was elected to represent his people at the Northern House of Assembly, serving as a vocal voice advocating the rights of Northern Nigeria. These men and many others have remarkably proven that the youth were capable of making huge difference when given the opportunity to add their quota. They also have shown that not only did youths contribute meaningfully to our national existence, but also to the process of the stability of the democracy which we now enjoy. When the recent agitation championed by youth advocacy groups for more youth inclusiveness in our governance emerged in our national discourse, many were suspicious of the intentions of our leaders to allow the much discussed not too young to run bill scale through to see the light of the day. However, President Muhammadu Buhari did not only sign the bill into law, but also promised to advocating young Nigerians that at the end of his administration in 2023, he will hand over to a democratically elected youth. The president, in his endeavor to fulfill his promise, urged young persons to participate in frontline and be identified with a political party that would assist in actualizing their goal, adding that only through such process could they emerge as leaders of the nation. It could be recalled that during his leadership under the military regime between 1983 and 1985, the head of state had a firm grip on administration much related to his age, which was an advantage for his efficiency in government. Hence, several feats were gained in areas of economic integration and disciplinary, as well as a precise fight against corruption and other criminal vices. While on one hand we believe that it is the time for the North Central to lay hold to a long year deprived political recognition, we similarly insist that the type of leader we want is young, energetic, dynamic, and a recognized individual who has walked within the circles of power and holds a good track record for quality leadership. Nigerian youth must rise and rally around themselves to save Nigeria through the democratic process. They must close-knit and embark on a historical journey that will ensure that leadership of the nation is relinquished to one of them, especially one who has been vocal and courageous in the advocating for youth inclusiveness in government with practical example. They need one who, like our heroes past, in doing it right and achieving tremendous results in difficult terrain. One who is detribalized, religious balanced, who recognizes and respects women. He holds the key to a united Nigeria. The future which they told us is ours is now. This message is brought to you by North Central Coalition for Leadership, NCCL.
I should have been governor at 40-something. That's the right age because you are active, you are experienced, you can put in long hours. I know how many hours I could put in when I was Minister of FCT. I can't do that now. And we just have to find a way to give way for the younger generation.
There's a new force of nature at hand, stirring all over the world. They are the young people whom, frankly, we have failed, who are angry, who are organized, who are capable of making a difference. They are a moral army. And the most important thing that we can do for them is to get the hell out of their way.